My beautiful
Hi.
friend.
I'm good. You talking good.
Hey, you know what? I love you. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here tonight to share with us.
Oh, thank you.
I was on a track here just for a second. I was talking about the necessity for people to continue to condition in the midst of a quarantine, in the midst of a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep their creativity in their hearts and their songs coming forth and to have a body of work. So
Yeah.
I'm going to jump right in. I'll introduce you just a second, but I want to hear what you have to say about that because you've been in a pandemic too and you've been quarantined. So can you share with them your own routine for maintaining and keeping up that incredible, powerful, great voice of yours? Go ahead.
Absolutely. Um, well, I'll kind of go back a little bit to when I first called you, where I was at the time. I think it was at the
Hello, hello.
yeah, it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and literally I was losing my voice every time I would sing. And just to know that I am a vocal athlete, it
Yeah, baby.
changes, it kind of changes your whole mindset towards your gift. When you realize that this is a gift that I have to take care of.
Yeah.
And so daily I started doing my vocal warm-ups, taking care of my voice.
Boom.
Cool downs is
Boom.
so important.
Yeah.
Just, it's a few analogies that you always give that no athlete is gonna play a game without warming up, and neither cooling down. So I think it's about changing your mindset. And sometimes we can be so gifted that we forget that this is something that we have to take care of.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm very, very adamant about doing my vocal warm-ups. And I think it's even more important during the pandemic because some of us are so used to traveling, singing every night, and now we're sitting at home and you're not exercising those vocals.
Yeah.
So I've spoken to a few artists who are like, oh my gosh, when I sing, I'm getting hoarse. It's because we're not practicing and using those vocal cords
That's
as
right.
much as we used to. So
That's right.
you are
So
absolutely right.
everybody, if you don't know already, you should. This is Madam Pastor, singer, real singer, Grammy winner, worship leader, and incredible
Wow.
woman of God, Miss Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Thank you.
Hi guys.
And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you were talking about, and thank you for sharing that. As a singer, we've all had those times when something goes a little left of center.
Yeah.
But as a worship leader, as a gospel singer who's highly visible and out there, the
Mm-hmm.
demands
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
on your time, and the travel when you're talking about coming and going, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then your instrument kind of staying in part of it, right?
Yeah.
Just because you're using it so much, but also because you're using it so much, there's that fatigue that comes with that.
Yeah.
How hard
Absolutely.
is it? How hard is it to learn to say
Ooh.
no?
I think we are so challenged at saying no. It's a cultural thing though for us. We want to please everybody. You don't want anybody offended or angry with you, but there are just times where you have to choose to say, okay, I have to take care of myself
Yeah.
so that I'm able to continue to do this. And when you think of it that way and even approach the situation that way, it's less aggressive. It doesn't feel as bad. Like, hey, if you want me to continue to have this gift, I have to take some time to take care of it. So just think of it that way.
Well, and I always use the analogy that if LeBron James tore his ACL, they're not going to wrap it up and say, get back out there and finish the game.
Right.
But much less the whole season. They're going to bench him for the rest of the season just because he's a valued athlete. And,
Mm-hmm.
as singers, we think, oh, well, the show must go on. I
Right.
can push through. I can push through this.
Yeah. Wow.
And pushing through sometimes can be the worst thing of all to do for the only two little strips of fiber in the human body that medical science and technology can't replace or duplicate.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
A big wow to that.
Yeah.
So you are you're an amazing performer. You're also an amazing brand, and
Wow.
you're a business entrepreneur. So you're wearing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different hats, and
Yeah.
yet all of those kind of center around the fact that uh, you're a praise and worship singer. You're a gospel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit and share with people about doing the other parts of the business around you? And I know you have a good team, and I know you got good people around you. But at the end of the day, it the buck stops with you, Kenny.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that and how you kind of divide yourself, if you will, into the creative, the artist part, and then also, the businesswoman part. And there's a sense of, we all think about riding a wave just in terms of the public part of that. And I'm not saying that that's your motivation, but I am saying it's a responsibility that goes with stewarding, all that God's providing for you. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's exciting to me to see some of what you're doing with your own brand. So please share with us about that.
I think it all goes back to purpose, knowing your purpose. A lot of times we can do things that are not aligned with who we are, our assignment in the earth. You have to know that. And a lot of people ask me, well, how do I get to know that? I think it starts with what you're passionate about. And then you build from there. You got to find that foundation of what's something that I am fulfilled at doing. What makes me feel happy when I'm doing it. For different people, it's different things. And for me, I found that leading worship, yes, I'm excited when I'm leading worship, but there's more to that. It's more of, I'm excited to bring people into the awareness of the presence of God, no matter what I'm doing. So if I'm selling glasses and people put on those glasses, and I'm, and the mission behind the glasses is to love everybody, then I'm bringing awareness to the presence of God. Or if I'm selling athletic wear and a woman puts on these athletic wear and she feels great and she feels like going out to take care of her body, then I'm bringing awareness to the presence of God. I think the foundation started with worship, and I just built on that. Like, wow, this gives me the same, I'm fulfilled when I do this the same way I am as when I'm on the stage. So it starts with that foundation of what's your purpose in the earth. And I think a lot of people just go through life doing things that they're not fulfilled doing it. And I'm not just talking about your job. Yes, we have to work, but there are hobbies and things that you do outside of your job that will fulfill you spiritually and naturally. I think we should all seek to find those things so that we're walking more towards our purpose. So that's where the businesses came from. It's about...
I understand that, because I didn't start out, to be, Mama Jane, everybody's vocal coach. I mean, I'm an artist, and my motivations at that point in my life were about me. I was, it was all about me achieving and everything that I thought I was going to do. And God was honing my skill set for 45 years of performing in studios and doing background vocals. And I'll be 64, by the way. I'll be 64 on Sunday. So,
you look incredible, and happy birthday.
Yeah, and you're going to have to sing to me now.
But anyway, I'm going to do that.
So, the bottom line is my skill set was being honed for something else. I didn't realize that at the time.
Yeah.
But I knew that I loved singing. And the other thing that I really loved was helping other people.
Wow,
I really loved making a difference and trying to help people. And like what you said, when you align your purpose, even sometimes if you don't know it, but you're doing something that you really love, and if you are, giving into or pouring into other people, I believe that generates what you're talking about.
Yes, and absolutely.
That exchange helps us to find our purpose. I feel like I know well enough what it is now, but it has created so many other opportunities for me to be creative in business. And I love creating business and business opportunities for other vocal coaches, for other producers, for other engineers. I mean, it's such a cool thing.
Right.
God has blessed the work of my hands to that end, and likewise yours, I think. So it's really cool, though, and congratulations on your success in those things, because I love seeing your, the style and your style.
Yeah.
But my favorite is the motorcycle. I like.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's my brother. So the motorcycle that we use for the eyewear photos and stuff, my brother actually builds motorcycles.
Wow.
And he designs them and sells them to different people. So I saw him I saw him post a picture of that when I was like, I have to have that motorcycle in my marketing.
Your brother, you said, right?
Yeah, my brother.
Do I have to order mine? Or
Yeah.
What kind of...
You sure can. You sure can.
No, that's very cool though, and that's cool. That's cool to hear that he probably is fine. Has found his passion.
Yes.
Building motorcycles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's very, very cool. Talk to me. What is a worship leader? People are want to know worship leader.
It kind of goes back to what I just said. To give you a short definition, we as worship leaders, we bring awareness to the presence of God. A lot of times I got this from one of my mentors. His name is William McDowell. And a lot of times you'll hear worship leaders say, I'm leading you into the presence of God, where the presence of God is everywhere. We are actually called to bring awareness to the fact that God is everywhere. And so whether we do that through song.
Wow, say that again. That's an amazing point. That's
an
amazing point. Say that again.
We're called to bring awareness to the fact that God is everywhere. And it's no matter where you are. When you think of it that way, we don't have to be in a church together. We can be watching, streaming in online together. He's right there in your house or in your car, at your job, wherever you are. And that's our assignment, to bring awareness to the presence of God. So
that's the purpose and the function.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the reality.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my worship singers, I say this all. I told you this. My worship singers lose their voices more often than my heavy metal singers on the road.
Yeah, you said that.
But why is that? You tell me, because I know why. But what, in your perspective, why is that?
I think it's because it goes back to what I said when I got on here. We don't put as much focus on the fact that we are vocal athletes as well as ministers. Mm-hmm. I think we lean a lot more towards the ministry portion and not the artistry portion that says, hey, you have to take care of this gift. So I believe that's why. But you could tell me why.
Well, you know what? I think that people don't think about athleticism. Mm-hmm. And they do if they're going to work out. They do if they're going to the gym. They do if they're going to run a marathon, or if they're going to, do Ironman. Everybody understands that Olympic athletes probably spend 4 to 6 hours a day, every day of their lives, working for their one event once in every 2 to 4 years. Wow. Right? Singers and worship singers in particular, because a lot of people who are worship singers and in the church sing from a place of just naturally kind of coming up in it, loving it, wanting to do it, and get, I don't want to say thrown into situations, they choose to go into them, but you're in situations where you have one rehearsal on a Wednesday night, Sunday, you're up at, whatever time in the crack of dawn, and you're going boom, boom, boom all day long. So you're running a marathon. Well, how many people have trained for a marathon? And I talk to singers all the time and say, would you, if I put you on a treadmill and came back 4 hours later, how you gonna be? And they're just like, no, I'm not gonna be on the treadmill. Yeah. So why do you think that you can stand on a stage for 4 hours straight, or in a booth for 4 hours cutting vocals, when you have not even begun to train for that? And I'm not talking about, people think all the classical opera stuff, and all due respect to that, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about basic conditioning, basic understanding that if you take a sip of water when you walk out on the stage, it's not really going to help you until 25 or 5 hours later. The misconceptions, the lack of knowledge. Guitar players know more about strings and guitars. Drummers know more about drum heads and sticks. Singers don't even think about how many vocal cords do you have. Tasha, how many vocal cords do you have?
We have 2.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I'm glad you got that correct.
I'm glad I got it. Like I am panicking.
But that right there, the basic information people are missing. And I think in the church, and it's even with a lot of my pastors, and I work with them too. Same thing.
That's so true.
They're blowing out their throats, and you lead worship and you preach. Yeah. And, so you're doing double, duty on your vocal cords, right?
Yeah. Wow. So,
tell me.
I hope y'all are taking notes. This is priceless information.
Tell me, what's your favorite? What's been the most helpful to you Information I know is always, powerful, but what's been the most actual applied thing for you that has helped you, that you've really like gone, okay, this is working. I'm going to keep doing this because this is helping my process.
It's two things that since we've been doing this, the first thing is the water. You shared that with me in our second session, and because we don't know, I mean, there are things. Let me tell you something. My first session with Mama Jan, she said, "You are phenomenal. You are amazing. You're a great worship leader, and we love your voice, but you don't know what the heck you're doing." And I love that. You were absolutely right. And because we're always thinking, oh, if I take a sip of water, even if I'm hoarse right now, it's going to help me out. But the truth is, it doesn't get into your system for another day. So most of us, if you're feeling dehydrated and you have a show coming up or you have to sing, you should start with the water 2 and 3 days prior. And that has been a lifesaver. I just did a recording. Yes, and all the steaming is so important. I just did a live recording about 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
and
please.
These things. I have a secret that I'm gonna share about that recording.
Okay.
About the album that nobody knows until right now.
Right here.
You're the first to know. Everybody's been asking, and now we're gonna tell you.
Come on.
But I want to share that because we did about 4 or 5 days of rehearsals leading up to the recording. And Mama Jan will tell you, I would not have been able to do that prior to us doing our sessions and me applying all of these things to my life. I did every rehearsal because I remember you telling me one time, I would tell you I could do 2 shows before and then I'd have to take a break. And you said, you're an athlete, you should be able to play back to back to back. And I took that, to heart. And I really started to work on my vocal. And I can tell you that each day I rehearsed. And at that recording, I still had voice for the entire show. We did 12 songs. So the water, the hydration, making sure you have the, what is it called? What's the thing? The humidifier. You got to have those. And the other thing is the warm-ups. So very important. I can immediately tell the difference when I take those 25, 30 minutes to do my warm-ups before it's time for performance. So we have to do that.
And the cool down.
And the cool down.
Yeah.
The cool down. You should have seen me. I had all my singers doing it. We had 12 singers. I walked into their first rehearsal. The first thing I said is, did y'all warm up? So they had to go.
I'm so proud because see that when that's the leading part. That's the worship leader part.
Yes.
Because other people are looking to you. Other people are looking to you and you're leading them, helping them to be better. I think, and I'm so humbled by that because to me, if I've done anything to give you what you need to be able to inspire and help other people to raise their bar to be excellent as well, how dope is that, right?
Yeah.
You talk about getting hoarse, and what a lot of you said, I would get hoarse and I would drink a lot of water. Well, hoarseness is not due necessarily to dryness or dehydration. It's due to the vocal cords being inflamed.
Yeah.
And when they're inflamed, and when you swallow water anyhow, it doesn't pass through your vocal cords. So it's that kind of stuff that begins to make that difference. I'm so proud of you for what you've just done in the recording of this project. And
thank you.
The fact that you recorded 12 songs.
You
did all of the rehearsals. I've already gotten a little glimpse of just how incredible it's going to be. People are going to lose their minds when they I mean, the first time I looked at that video of you and your friend Kiara shared, who it was recorded here in Atlanta, and just blew me away. I mean, I couldn't stop listening to it. And that's the power of worship. That's the power of really allowing other people to be led by you. But your example is so important. It's my example is important. Yours is so important. So I'm very proud of you. And talk to me about the new project now. Talk about that. Go
absolutely, I will.
Promo you want, baby.
So it's called Royalty. And the Bible calls
that picture.
Oh, that was the album cover. So we released the album cover last night. If you haven't seen it, go on my page. It is Justin Foster did an incredible job, just really pulling the vision out of it. There's a scripture that says that we are a royal priesthood. a holy nation. And when I was preparing for this recording, that's just something that kept coming back to me as I was thinking over the history of my relationship with Jesus Christ. No matter whether I was up or down or wilding out or, at the feet of Jesus, he always saw me as royalty. He never changed his heart or his mind towards me. And as I was thinking about that, I started to write these songs in our writing sessions that really all led towards, wow, he's always thinking of me as royalty, no matter whether I was grieving or whether my heart was broken or if I was in a happy place. He never changed his mindset towards me. And so these songs are really going to minister to people in a very personal place. I mean, when you turn them on, there's a song that I wrote. My brother was going through a season of depression, and I was just praying for him one day. Sometimes your loved ones can go through things and you just want to rescue them, but it's out of you can't really control it. And so the only thing that I could do was pray. And God spoke to me. He gave me this song just like this. The song is called Never Gave Up. And it just talks about even in those seasons where you are, I never gave up on you. My arms were wide open, and I'm going to silence the shame of your situation. I mean, these songs are so
Shout
very,
out to Dante Doss.
yeah.
Shout out to her,
Yeah, Travis wrote a song. He actually wrote the title cut to the album. It's called Royalty. He called me one day and said, hey, I think I got this song for you. And it is mind-blowing, just beautiful.
I'm gonna say, hey, Tasha, I think I got a song
Please do. So what I want to share tonight is we recorded 3 weeks ago. And so my husband he works like a horse, and he and the production team, they have completed the album. We completed it in 2 weeks. Unheard of.
that is unheard of.
Right. So this Friday, we are releasing the pre-orders. You guys are the first to know, and you instantly get 2 of the tracks.
Okay.
This Friday.
I want to say that again. So this is exclusive information right here, right now. So everybody, this Friday, Tasha is releasing Royalty, the new album. And what did you just say?
It's the pre-orders. So
the pre-order, okay.
And you get 2 songs immediately. They're called instant grats.
There you go. So you get 2 instant grats for your pre-order.
I see a lot of my followers on here. They're like, what?
Everybody go do that. and I'll repost that too. Just what. And is there anything you want to tell us about where you recorded this album?
Oh my goodness, the Ryman. It was live at the Ryman in Nashville. Yeah. It's such a historic place. If you learn the history, we actually we filmed each day that we were there. So we're gonna release that really soon too, where everybody can log on and just watch the footage from the behind the scenes. Yeah. But the history of the Ryman, it was originally created as a cathedral. Yeah. And they would host revivals there. I think it was, oh God, it was so many years, 1872 or something like that. Yeah. Don't quote me on that. But
18 something.
Yeah, you can feel that. I felt that it's like, I don't know, it's like a seasoned, it was seasoned worship. It was, if you can call it that. The Ryman is such a beautiful place. And I chose to continue with the live recording, even without an audience. Sometimes we as worship leaders, we always say,
talk about that. Talk about that, because I knew that you were going to go do that. I was supposed to be there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've been taking care of my mom, my sweet Betty, but talk about that and the fact that you went ahead and persevered because you knew that you needed to do that. I want to.
Yes. And it was such a moment, just once you see the footage, because we have videos for every track too. So once you see the footage, I wanted them to capture the empty room. I believe our children will look back 10 and 12 years from now, and they'll see all of this footage that the church was not absent in the middle of a pandemic. I want it to be seen that we had on masks and that we were taking precaution, but we still worshiped and we still took time to come up with creative ideas to get the gospel out to God's people. So I wanted that captured. And I think it was much more beautiful than even what I thought it would be, to see those empty pews. Because a lot of times as worship leaders, we say, we're doing this for an audience of one. We know the room is filled, but I actually had a chance to do it for an audience of one only Jesus Christ was in the room, and we did it just for him. And so we went
But
all out. I mean, the production was
yeah,
incredible. We did it.
I think it's going to speak though to like hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
Yes.
It's going to speak that message. What you just said, I think it's going to speak to all of those people, no matter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
Yeah.
the art of worship. It's the art of
Yeah.
worship, and what you're talking about is bringing that history at this particular point in time with you. It's kind of like
Wow.
the tabernacle in Atlanta.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's the same to me.
Yeah.
Even though they're doing other kinds of shows there, it's the
It's
history
still
of
a
that
tabernacle.
place.
Yeah.
It is, and it was built
Yeah.
for that. So
It was beautiful. Yeah.
I know that you have some other obligations this evening, so I'm gonna let you bounce in a second. Let people, the ones who don't know, I mean, a lot of folks are on with you, but the people who may not know how to get in touch with you as far as your projects and your art, it's Tasha Cobbs Leonard on Instagram. Is that on all the platforms for you?
Yes, on all
Okay.
platforms. Absolutely.
And
Mm-hmm.
is there anything else that you can share or that you want people to know about the project? And so because I want people to support your
Right.
efforts and what you're doing.
No, I believe we shared everything, but just know that I believe when you hear it, it's gonna minister to you in a personal way. I really do. We put our hearts into this. This was one of the most spiritual. We had a lot of warfare, not technically, but just my family. My husband and I, we went through. It was one of the hardest weeks of my life, and the Lord told me to continue to do it. I thought about calling it off, but he said, the strength that you need is in your worship. And so this one was for me too. I needed that worship, and I put it all on this album. So when you hear it, that's what you're going to get.
And I'm grateful to know that you really did put it all, because you prepared in a way that you hadn't before. And hopefully that even brought out other things for everybody to hear. So thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for being a good steward, and thank you for stepping up your vocal athleticism as an example to others, and for allowing me to be a small part of that, because it is an honor and a privilege to work with all the artists that I work with, whether they are known or not known. And I mean that sincerely. But those of us who have visible platforms, it's even more important for us to bear the stewardship of that, and to be the example that we say that we are,
So true. Absolutely.
So thank you for that. I love you for that.
Thank you. I love you.
But I love you for that. But I'm going to hold you to the motorcycle now.
Okay. I'm going to have to shoot my brother a text. That's good. I love that motorcycle.
I'm going to check that motorcycle out.
All right.
You give big love to your sweetheart for us, and know that we're praying for you and this new album. It is called Royalty. Y'all please say bye-bye to Miss Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Thank you, my sister.
Bye, guys. All right. Love you.
Love you too.